Hello everybody and welcome back to the Traxion channel for another brand new video. Now today's video is all about rFactor 2 because Studio 397 are at it again. We've got an incredible new host of content coming to the sim in November and this one is a biggie. First up, the cars. We have the BMW 330i British touring car, which is one of the most popular BTCC cars. It joins the incredible roster of touring cars that Studio 397 have been adding already this year. We also have a second car and this one is very interesting indeed. The Vanwall Vandervell Le Mans Hypercar. Yes, that's right, it is a Le Mans Hypercar. You may not know that much about it, there's been a bit of controversy around its entry in real life. I'm not going to get into that too much, but it is in official capacity in the game, and it looks amazing. I've not driven it yet, and I'm very excited to do so. I'm going to be doing it in this video. But what track will I be driving it on? The new venues include Thruxton and Croft from the British touring car roster. Now these two are some famous British circuits, slightly less well known maybe than Silverstone and Donington and Brands Hatch, but they are fantastic to drive. Thruxton especially is the fastest circuit in the UK and it is insane, so I cannot wait to try the laser scan version of that. We also have the Bahrain International Circuit, which of course is famous in Formula 1, the World Endurance Championship. It was even used in the first round of the Le Mans Virtual Series this year, and it's finally coming to the platform for the rest of the public. There's even a fourth circuit in the form of the ExCeed circuit in the middle of London. This is the venue, of course, for the London E-Prix. It's one of the first indoor, I think it might be the very first indoor-outdoor race circuits ever used in a top-level motorsport series. So that is very cool as well. So many things to choose from. Alongside the exciting new content, there will of course be some quality of life things, there will be some other tweaks to the game. You can find out all of that, of course, by following the TraxionGG website. If you're watching this on Sunday, this content releases tomorrow and you'll be able to pick it up for, I don't actually know the prices. I mean, you can probably tell roughly how much it's going to cost by looking at the other content on rFactor 2, so it'll be somewhere in the ballpark. But yeah, it's going to be available on Monday, so you can get your hands on this as well. As for today's video, I think the thing I want to try the most at first is the Vanwall, because we've already driven a lot of the touring cars. I will show you the BMW a little bit later on, but the Vanwall excites me because it's the first time I've had a chance to drive one of these new hypercars other than the Toyota, which I drove on Gran Turismo 7. I know you're probably expecting me to drive around Bahrain because that seems like an appropriate circuit for a hypercar, but Thruxton is absolutely immense, and there's no chance you would see a hypercar go around there in real life. It's a very high-speed circuit, needs a lot of downforce. I just think, why the hell not? One final thing before I jump into the hot seat. As usual, when we're making videos about rFactor 2, there comes a disclaimer. We are owned by Motorsport Games, as are Studio 397 who make this game. However, we don't get told what we can or can't say. Everything is fully editorially independent. I can say whatever I genuinely think about this game, as I have done for years with rFactor 2. But with that out of the way, let's jump in. This is a fairly big moment for a number of reasons. I mean, if you're a Le Mans fan or a World Endurance fan, it's going to be very exciting that there's now finally a second official hypercar in a racing game. Obviously GT7 has the Toyota, as I mentioned before, but this is rFactor 2. This is a hardcore simulation on PC with a Vanwall. There's an interesting story behind the Vanwall, but I'm intrigued to see how it's going to feel. Obviously, the second part of that is Thruxton. To have a laser-scanned official version of Thruxton. I've driven so many mod versions of Thruxton over the years, I don't really know how realistic they are, because Thruxton's one of the very few tracks in the UK that I haven't raced on in real life. So this is going to give me a big idea as to what Thruxton actually feels like and how good these mods in the past have actually been. So yeah, I'm excited. I don't think there's anything left for me to say. I'm going to hit drive. I'm on completely default setup, haven't changed anything, so let's see what happens. Into first gear. And out we roll. Now this car doesn't have a hybrid system like the Toyota. This has essentially a naturally aspirated 4.5 litre V8 engine, so it's fairly old school in that sense. You're sitting quite low in the cockpit. Just gonna slowly work our way up. Now Thruxton doesn't really have many slow corners. Like, you've got a couple of chicanes like this one, and then the final section as well, which is a very tight chicane. Other than that, it's very fast and flowing. So I'm going to open the taps up now a little bit. And away we go. Already doing 150 miles an hour. Whoa, I'm used to driving this track in like minis or touring cars or Clios or something. We're already coming towards church. I'm going to lift the first lap for sure. But I want to see if the downforce can carry us through there flat out in future. That is the fastest corner in the UK, I'm pretty sure. It's always incredible to watch the touring cars race around there. We'll hit the brakes. Into the chicane really early, obviously, just to try and edge up to this. We're going to have to warm up the tyres, warm up the brakes, get everything going. And that's the tight chicane. Oh, okay. Backhand stepped out at me there. Definitely need to put some more heat through the car. Let's brake nice and early for the chicane because the speeds are so different to usual. In we go. Short shift to third. No hybrid boost to give you that bootful, but you do have a big V8 doing the same job essentially. Got the force feedback up quite high, even though I'm using the kind of smaller direct drive wheelbase, the DD Pro, and it's heavy. This is a workout already. Every single bump I'm feeling as well. Through church, a little bit of a lift. I missed the apex, but yeah, I reckon we can do that flat at some point. Seem to be topping out there at 191 in 6th gear on this default setup. Might need a little bit more than that for Thruxton, but we'll see. It's very bumpy actually, and as I was saying, I'm curious to see how this version of Thruxton compares to the versions I've driven on in the past. Now, just recently we've done our Toka touring car retrospective, so I've been driving Thruxton on that. I've actually raced recently on a kind of modded version of an rFactor 2 Thruxton in a touring car, and that was good fun. This feels different though. Like, this track feels bumpier, it feels tougher. The reference points feel different, and I know that this is the correct version, so it's actually really interesting to know that the versions I've been playing on in the past aren't quite as accurate as I thought they might have been. I mean, look at this thing bouncing around on the run up to the final chicane. I think the touring cars around here are doing, what, like 115s, something like that, 114s, I'm not quite sure. Something around that ballpark, I think. So we're already like 10 seconds quicker on our very first lap. Oh, there's so much potential here. There is so much potential, both in the car as it stands and probably in the setup as well, I'm sure. And you can be very, very committed through church. I don't really know the full deal with this car. It's obviously been built, it's been tested in real life as well, being run by ByKolles, who are a well-known endurance racing outfit. But the car, even though they aim to race at 2023 Le Mans and 2023 WEC, is not appeared on any entry lists or anything like that, so I don't really know what the situation is there. But I'm so grateful that we actually have this car to drive in this sim. I didn't really like the Toyota on GT7. I thought it felt a bit cumbersome, pretty bad on the brakes. Now, that part of that is actually not to do with the game or a fault of the car, it's just the change in regulations. The hypercars are slower than the old LMP ones, so you know, they're powerful in the straight, and then they are a bit more cumbersome through the corners. And this, to be honest, feels the same. Like, I'm really enjoying it, but it definitely feels more like a GT1 in terms of its character rather than an LMP one. It's got that little bit more brute force behind it and a bit less nuance. It's just chuck it in, brake pretty early, and then hang on for dear life. That's essentially a summary of driving this car. Oh, bit sideways through there. We're a second up in our time. Right, can we take church flat? I'm not going to lift. I need to get the turn in spot on, but I don't know where the curbs are. That was too early. Oh my god. Oh. Well, it looks like I've got invulnerability on, so that's a relief. Oh. Yep, that's not how you take turn 1. Well, lap 7 is already ruined. Isn't that crazy? I'm already on lap 7. I mean, I feel like I've been driving for about 2 minutes. I'm doing lap times that should not be happening around this place. And would I want to do this in real life? I mean, of course I would. But, I mean, you wouldn't want to have a high speed off around here in this car at these speeds, for sure. I mean, it's bad enough in a touring car. You've seen so many cars end up in the trees, miles away from the circuit. I'm finding the same thing as I did with the Toyota. I feel like I need to treat this car with a little bit more respect than I expected to. I thought it was just going to stick a bit more. I don't think it's going to be that much quicker than, you know, the likes of an LMP2, because in real life the hypercars aren't actually that much quicker at this current stage, especially compared to the older style LMP2s. Oh, that was much better on the brakes. No lock-up. In we go. Use a bit of throttle, but just watch short shift on the exit to keep that back end in check. Still got a bit of oversteer, but it's actually helped. Oh, I'm liking the Traxion-themed rev lights. That's very cool. I'm really looking forward to trying a whole host of different cars on this Thruxton layout as well. Now that I finally feel like I can get my hands on a realistic, thorough version of Thruxton, and wow, it's bumpy, wow, it's difficult, but I'm excited to give this a proper blast in anything, really. Honestly, if the track wasn't so bumpy, I think the car would be feeling a lot more stable. I don't think that's necessarily the car's fault. It's my fault for choosing Thruxton, but, you know, I had to do it. And what a venue. What a combo. I wouldn't want to race around here, I don't think. In this, anyway, but wow. Hot lap experience. It's a good one. A tiring one as well. Both physically and mentally, to be honest. There we go. Much better. Into the 102s. One more lap for glory. Gonna use 6th gear this time. Nice and easy, be smooth. I think you have to be smooth, back on the power. Use the downforce. No, no, no. See, I mean that, stop bouncing. I think we'll leave it there, shall we? I do want to do one more combo before I end this video, and I think the most appropriate thing to do would be to try the other new car, so the BMW 330i, and I'm going to take it around Croft. You guys all know what Bahrain's all about, but you probably don't know that much about Croft unless you're British or are a big fan of the likes of the British Touring Car Championship. So I'm going to show you around this place as well. This is a great wee circuit, tough to race on, difficult to overtake. I've raced here many times myself in real life in smaller machinery, but yeah, it's a cool track, so I'm excited to give it a try nonetheless. I'm going to do that first time driving clutch control to get out of the pit lane. There we go. So yeah, what I was trying to say was, I have driven, of course, the rear-wheel drive Infinity before, so I'm expecting the BMW to feel something similar. The BTCC have very tight regulations. The cars are all going to feel fairly close together. But it's nice, again, in the same way as it was with Thruxton, to see an official version of Croft, a modern, up-to-date official version of Croft with laser scanning and everything like that. So T1's a fast right. Oh dear, I didn't hit the brake hard enough there. Then you've got a kind of tighter, long sweeping right. Then you've got this flat-out chicane, where you can just get as close to the tyre barrier as possible. It'll take me a few laps to get that flat out, I think, especially in this car. We've got a fast left, fast right, sideways, and then sunny in through here. Barcroft, I think this one's called, and then sunny in. Slower right-hander. This is not the track. That's the track over there. Yep, we're back on now. We'll try that track guide of Croft once again, because I feel like I was trying to drive this car as if I had the downforce of the Vanwall there on the first lap, which it definitely doesn't. So the first corner, as I say, is quite a fast right-hander. You want to get on the curb, run all the way out to the left, and then you kind of straight line this chicane, so it's just essentially a big long sweeping right. Get on the power, ease your way onto it, watch out for oversteer, and then make sure you cut to the right at the right moment to hit that curb, and then again on the left. Whoa! Need to get some more temperature into these tyres, as I always say. The touring cars are great in that way. You really do need to work them hard. Then we're going to brake over the bumps into what is probably the toughest corner on the track in real life to get right. There's a bit of camber going the wrong way. It always forces you out to that curb on the exit. This is highly pleasant in my Mazda. Flat out through here, left. Flat out through the right. In the touring car, it's going to be sketchy to say the least. You can use the runoff here, and then you want to just lift as you come in here. On the brakes through Barcroft, into sunny in. Get it into the curb. I missed it slightly there. You want to run out wide, and then back in for sunny out. I said I was going to push less hard in this lap, and here I am, acting as if it's my only opportunity. Then this last section is really slow. You have to be careful and patient through the left, brake hard for the right, which is a tighter corner, while back on the power, keep it all the way to the right, and then you've got the tightest hairpin in what feels like the UK. I think it might well be the slowest corner, or the tightest corner at least. A lot less wide open than the likes of the Knock Hill hairpin. And there's your lap of Croft. So for those of you who don't know the circuit, this is what you're up against. So far I have to say the BMW feels like a BMW touring car. The BTCC cars, they have been really well made. Like, they feel really, really solid. They're difficult. Some people might just think, oh, it's a touring car, you know, they're meant to be user friendly, they're not as tough as the GTs, or, you know, they're meant to be soft and cuddly, and they're not. They're not at all. The front wheel drives are okay, but under braking, oh, that's not a cuddly teddy bear. Come on, patience, patience. Don't lose the back end. It's just like you're teasing it all the way through. You're praying with it not to lose its temper and spit the dummy out. I love it. I really do. Get turned. Yeah, spitful. We can brake a lot later for turn one. We're going to use all of this area on the left. Again, I could probably have gone a bit later again. Yeah, definitely much later. Not turn in quite as early. Can I just say, having raced at Croft many, many times in real life, this is incredibly accurate. Like, the bumps, they're so recognizable to me. It's like muscle memory. My body knows exactly what's coming, and I'm braking. Obviously, I've not driven an actual touring car around here. I've only driven my little Mazda and a single-seater sprint car as well. My first ever time out on a circuit was actually at Croft when I was 16. But the touring cars are very different. The braking points are different. You get to the corners a lot quicker than you do in the Mazda, but obviously not quite as quick as you do in the single-seater, which has far better braking capabilities. So I've really got to think about everything here carefully. Like Sunny In, I'm not quite getting it right. This is every bit as challenging as the Vanwall around Thruxton. It really is. I just think these cars are going to be amazing to race online. Like when you get a full grid of official touring cars on official British circuits, the online racing element is just going to be mind-blowing. That's better, thank you. Still a lot more speed that can be taken. I genuinely do feel like rFactor 2 is in a really good place right now. Obviously, the likes of Low Fuel Motorsport bringing in lots of users. It's got the competition system, which is kind of finding its feet. Lots of people are discovering this sim. It's not a new sim by any stretch, but the content that they're continuing to pump out at the moment at a very fast rate, and it's high quality content. It's really helping the system grow and grow. Oh, that's so much better into Sunny In. Gonna just watch out that curb here. There we are, much smoother. Just look at the lap time gains. I'm getting very technical with this. It's just because it's an intense racing experience. This is pure simulation right now. It really is. There is nothing gamey about this, what I'm doing right now. Nothing at all. That's the one. Finally got that one just about right. Oh no! Oh, the lap was going so well. So well. We'll give it one more go. I'm enjoying this too much to stop. Right, come on. Channel your inner Colin Turkington. That can happen. So that is going to conclude this quick look into the new content that's coming as part of rFactor 2's November content drop. This content is available to purchase on the 7th of November, and you can probably pick it up in the Steam store. You can actually pick it up in-game now as well, because there's been a recent update which has integrated the store into the main menu, so hopefully that means you can actually buy this content from the game without having to go into the Steam DLC workshop store confusion bit. If you're watching this a couple of days down the line and you've already picked up the Vanwall, you've tried the BMW, Croft, Thruxton, Bahrain, whatever, please do let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and subscribe to the Traxion channel if you want to see more racing game content like this in the future. Of course, leave us a like if you've enjoyed the video as well, because that really does help us continue to build this channel, continue to build our community. You guys are amazing, you're always leaving incredible comments, incredible support on the videos, and it really does mean a lot to us, so yes, thank you very much. Until next time, keep it pinned, and have a great day.